Bandidos, ¿cómo estamos? Welcome to Mel's Magic, episode 17 of season 2. Owl and I say hello. I hope you're doing well. So let's jump right into our energy read of the day. The cards I pulled for today are the King of Swords, the Four of Cups, the Six of Cups, and the Five of Swords in reverse. So the main energy, I pull the main energy always from the Rider-Waite Tarot deck. Our main energy is the King of Swords. Now, what does he stand for? He stands for mental clarity, intellectual power. Think of him as the kind of benevolent father father type energy who looks deeply into a situation without judging, but using his mental capacities to really understand a situation. So it's nice to pull the King of Swords after our reading yesterday, which was the Empress in reverse, where we were a bit scattered, maybe our energy pouring too much outwards, and the Empress in reverse was reminding us to watch our space, our energetic space. And the King of Swords also reminds us to access that inner energy that brings us back to a loving discipline. So the word discipline used to make me cringe because I had the critic voice very much backing up this, you have to, thou must, you need to, underlying tone to it. So it was something that was more related to a kind of self-flagellative and self-loathing energy. Whereas if we look at discipline as something that enables us to create structure in our lives, and that, for example, in my case, creates a framework for little Melanie, the creative one, the curious one, the joyful one, to not overdo it and to kind of focus in, to zoom in on things. That is the kind of energy that the King of Swords will help us with, to just keep us in check. Because we know that if we go beyond our boundaries, be it energetically or if we indulge in thoughts or behaviors that ultimately do not serve us, if we go to an extreme, we need the King of Swords energy to just gently remind us, hey, commitment, a bit of routine, a bit of discipline, commitment to your values, to your project is good, and it actually helps you move forward. So things are not too mentally scattered. So let's draw on this energy and use a bit of our logic to also help us live up to our ethical standards. It's really important that we have standards for ourselves and that help us to always try our best. And it doesn't mean perfectionism, but standards for ourselves that don't let us just get by with mediocrity. So the King of Swords is really there to put us into place and say, hey, you can do this, you're worthy, you are capable of so much, but we just need to rein things a little bit and create a framework and be devoted to your, whether it's a schedule you made for yourself or a framework to work with. In my case, I'm really trying to use the first 2 hours of my day for setting up a healthy and nurturing morning routine. So what I do is I wake up in the morning, then I stream myself energetically with Yin Shin Jitsu, which is a Japanese healing modality. Then I drink my cup of hot lemon water. I pull the cards of the day. Then I meditate, write my morning pages. That's a new thing. If you don't know about the amazing book, The Artist's Way, I can only highly recommend it. Really helps me get out of a creative rut. So I've been doing that writing 3 pages in the morning. It's kind of subconscious, a la Dadaist automatism writing before your rational mind kicks in and senses everything out. And gratitude. So if I really tick off these tasks, these morning tasks, I mean, it's pretty much 99.9% guarantee that the rest of the day will go smoothly because I have set myself up for success in that sense. I've created a high vibe of gratitude. I've focused my mind. I have done something that nurtures me, and I can set off to the day ready for whatever comes, and also with the intention of manifesting, because as we know, the energy we put out comes back to us. So I check with myself in the morning, what am I vibing on? Am I vibing on stress and anxiety, or am I vibing on let's go after our dreams kind of energy that is energetic, excited, and powerful, confident, and grateful. So if I'm checking myself and I'm on that vibe, we're pretty good for the rest of the day, vale? So King of Swords, gently, lovingly create a committed framework for you to work with, ideally daily, and stick with it. And the King of Swords also reminds us, Four of Cups, not to look too much into the past. You see the 3 cups here that are kind of emptied out, and she looks a bit meh, apathetic or frustrated or disappointed. But she's not looking at the wonderful, colorful, joyful cup that is handed to her right in front of her, literally. She's looking the wrong way. So King of Swords also reminds us, hey, stay grateful. Look at what you have. Look at the opportunities that are given to you. Look at the gestures of love that are being handed to you, instead of looking the quote-unquote wrong side of maybe past stuff that has gone wrong. And as we've said in previous episodes, our brain is wired towards already programmed conditioning, already deeply entrenched neural pathways from the past. So we kind of replay the past, especially if the memories are linked to highly charged emotional events that have branded our subconscious mind, which is the body. So if we're not making a conscious effort to look for the abundance and to look towards gratitude and prosperity, our mind tends to flip into negative patterns. So again, the King of Swords, with his mental clarity and discipline, reminds us to watch ourselves and watch how are we perceiving the world. Are we looking through our glasses of abundance, or are we looking at the world through lack and therefore create more lack? Careful. From the Wild Unknown Animal deck, we had the Six of Cups, which again tied to the main King of Swords energy, reminds us, hey, remember, we're working on creating a strong foundation. We've come so far in our journey. We've really put in the work, and we feel and we know that our roots are growing steadily and strong into the ground, and that we have this anchor within ourselves now. So Six of Cups in this image talks to me about taking stock again of everything we've gone through, everything we've persevered through, all the little bricks we've put into place to create a strong foundation, how we've been nurturing ourselves with our own self-love and our own self-compassion. And that, yes, we might have a few old patterns to work through, and they won't just disappear that easily. I think we know when we've changed or transformed, when a familiar situation that used to trigger us arrives in our 3D reality, but we no longer react in the same way. We have, thanks to our self-nurturing, created enough space for self-awareness that we're much more able to respond to those negative thoughts and triggering situations. So let's take some stock, and let's remember our roots are strong. We have worked so hard, and we are capable of so much more growth. So keep on nurturing this root, what do you call rhizomas, this network of roots that are keeping us anchored from the inside. And last card, clarifying the King of Swords, was the Five of Swords in reverse. And together, King of Swords reminds us, hey, we've got these lingering negative patterns. We are aware that temptation, mental attachments are still there, but that we're very much capable of cutting them loose and letting go of them. The practice is the same. Create a daily framework of quote-unquote rituals that set you up for success throughout the day and that help you catch yourself when and if you're falling into negative patterns and then negative behavior, negative or toxic vices. I'll give you a very clear example. So one of my vices, I guess, is rollies cigarettes, and I embellish them, so to speak, with cloves. There's a brand of Indonesian cigarettes which I absolutely love. They're clove cigarettes called Gudang Garam. Not so available here in Spain, so I roll my own. I crunch the cloves and I roll them. But I get easily hooked on them, honestly, and they're not good for me. I basically chucked away the packet of tobacco and I said, enough, basta. I cut out my seduction into a vice because ultimately it just doesn't serve me. Maybe I'll have a cigarette here and there, but not an entire pack. It cannot do this anymore, Melanie. We know how it affects the lungs, the brain, and energy levels in general. So no. We gotta nurture the good habits. And I was quite consequent. I literally had the sword and cut that out. I'm like, no, basta. So look into yourself. What kind of old tempting patterns are within you? Don't judge those patterns. Don't judge those thoughts. Don't even judge yourself if you do fall back into something you thought you were done with. Remember, we can only transform something with love. We can only transform fear with love. We should never, don't like the word should, but it's best if we do not repress, judge, expel, condemn parts of ourselves. I mean, that's the whole process of becoming whole. So don't just love the parts of yourself that are likable, but actually extend extra self-love to those parts that are not so likable, that are disgusting, because they are part of us, and we can only really become whole if we accept the totality of our being, likable and unlikable, vale? The thing is really just to create conscious choices. Create enough self-awareness and mindfulness and body awareness to be able to choose consciously so that we do not get overwhelmed by onslaughts of negative thinking or past behaviors that just don't serve us anymore. Vale? So that's my little message of today. King of Swords, embody him, use his wisdom, and be gentle with yourself. Okay? That's enough. That's about it for me today and the owl. Les deseo todo lo mejor y mañana más. Okay? Alles Gute, ein schönes Wochenende euch y feliz San Valentín mañana. Os quiero mucho. Ciao.